Whoa.
I want to be very real right now. I have managed to continue dry January through one of the most stressful weather events I have ever been through. And the amount of times that I have just wanted to reach for that Chablis to heal me during this time. And I've managed not to do it. So after I evacuated to the second home that I was yours and then floors, which rhymes, there was cigarettes there. And I took one out and had the best dart of my life. And I am vaping until the fires are done. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, you know, pick of ice.
Truly. Welcome to Disrespectfully
With Katie Maloney.
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically.
We're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
hi.
Hello. Well, me on the other hand, I drank my body weight in wine over the weekend.
Good morning. Tell us about your trip.
Yeah, I went to Nashville. What's crazy is that we had this trip planned since I don't know, beginning of December. So we were just like, let's just take a little girls trip. Bailey and I were like, let's go see Caitlin and hang out for a few days. And I was like, perfect. And it just so happened to come at this exact time. So I was very thankful for past me for deciding to book a trip so I could get out of town. You know, it's, if you're here in LA, you know how just stressful it is always. So getting away to like just hang. Obviously, I had a really emotional week with my dad passing on Sunday, and then just like barely even feeling like starting to sort out those feelings and feeling my way through that, just beginning that whole thing. And then this happened. So it was just like I needed to go.
Yeah, it was
decompress.
Fantastic timing. I was very happy for you that ended up happening. So we usually record our Wednesday episode and our Friday episode together. And when we came in to do the Wednesday episode, was like so much has happened between then and now. We decided, because everything was just so sketchy at the time, that we just wanted to do the Wednesday one, get out of Dodge, regroup, not only for us, but for our team. And then you went out of town and I continued to not have power. I want to be clear, I wasn't ever in an evacuation zone, but I just didn't have power. And then the Sunset Fire happened. And when the Sunset Fire happened, both Raleigh and Ariana were in the evacuation zone immediately. Like, they got the buzzy thing that was like, get out right now. So they went to Floors, and then Katie was leaving. So I went to stay at Floors. And thank you so much to Caleb and Floor for hosting us. I mean, if everything wasn't so awful, it would have been a blasty blast. It felt like an Olsen twin sleepover. Like, we were just having such a good time. I was watching everyone drink, salivating. We watched movies and just like tried to feel as normal as we could. But again, if you're in LA, you know this feeling. It's just been a constant barrage of, we feel like we're getting somewhere, and then there's a flare up, and, you know, back and forth. So I'm glad that you haven't had to be here for.
Yeah, no, it was really, but it's like even in Nashville, people are like, oh my God, they're all up to date and like just feeling just sad, and for everyone, you know, it's being felt everywhere. But yeah, but I did have a snowstorm. I got some snow.
Oh, you had some snow. How was that?
It was like a winter wonderland there.
You were having Christmas, the sequel.
No, literally. I looked at, like, I woke up one morning and I opened up the blinds, and it was just like dumping snow. I was like, well, this is different.
Meanwhile, we're literally burning.
Dude, it's not lost on me, the irony. But we had a snow day and we ate chili inside and played card games, and it was just very nice. Chill
Sounds
time.
super calming.
I know. Sorry, not to be like, but like,
did you bring a sweater?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Good.
Did I bring a sweater?
I'm glad. Did you button up?
I brought a coat.
I was just telling you before we came in, I was going to go, if I had to leave, move to another house. I was sick of moving over with Laszlo, just her routine and whatnot. I was going to go to San Diego to stay with Katya. And then right as I was about to do that, a fire broke out in San Diego. So I was like, you know, everything is awful. One silver lining, Laszlo is great with dogs. I wasn't really sure, because I've watched Megan's dog before, because Georgie, she's just a King Charles Cavalier, and she's so calm, and cats can usually handle calm dogs, but she did great with Maya.
You had like a full house of animals over there.
It was Dr. Doolittle's crib, okay? I was like, Dana Doolittle over there. And we introduced him to Kobe, Raleigh's Frenchie. They're having a great time. Cash, her English is, I don't know that he liked cats, so we were kind of separating them, but yeah, we were just like 1,000 dogs and cats and just having a kiki. So truly thank you again. Bless you to every first responder and people who have been just, they've been working so hard.
It's very incredible. And the fact that we've had firefighters coming from surrounding states and countries, whether it's Canada or Nevada or Mexico, like it's just like pretty remarkable. And so thank you to all those heroes.
But yeah, that's what we have going on. Really quickly, because anyone that listens to this that keeps sending it to me, I feel like I've sent it to you. Do you know how many people have sent me recently and tagged me in the toaster that also heats 2 hot dogs at the same time as the bun?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you guys, I get Katie's birthday's coming up. I get it. And they're like, she needs to see this. So your brand is dogs. Okay. I just want you to know that.
But yeah, I get all the hot dog ones and anything that's like remotely like emo adjacent, like the Grinch singing emo. And then those ones like Feliz Navidad.
Yes.
That. I got that a trillion, which, it makes me, I feel like people really like get me. They understand me.
About 45 people sent me a meme that said what a drunk cigarette feels like. And it was a white horse running through a
Your
field.
Your brand is cigarettes?
At least we're consistent. I was like, you know what? Also that meme, I enjoyed it. I loved it each more than the last. So
no, that was really, I think I sent that to you.
You possibly sent it to me.
I was like, I think you reposted this, but it still made me think of you immediately before I saw that you reposted it.
A bunch of people sent it was a goose carrying a knife in its beak, and it was like, be the whole problem. And I wanted to like repost it, but there's just right now everything's so scary. It's just kind of like fire content, but that one was pretty good too.
What are like the rules of like posting on social media during times like this? Because I feel like there also needs to be a little bit of levity along with like helpful, correct information, not misinformation, but like, is there not allowed to be levity on social media? I mean, social media is so unserious as it is.
Well, I think we need. I saw Jeremy Strong, our favorite bucket hat wearer from Succession. I saw, I think a bunch of people also sent me this, and they're like, on January 21st, when I have to live through Cheeto the sequel, and there's no TikTok, and he's in a bathroom, and he just like breaks everything and is screaming in the bathroom, and I was like, yes, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wanted just to watch dog stuff online.
Well, I'm completely unleashed at the moment because if TikTok is ending, I was worried about my 10-hour-a-day screen time. And now, you know what? I'm like, let's kick this thing up to 12. Let's do every waking minute while I can. So.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to rival TikTok is maybe the Watch Studio for time spent.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just constantly switching between those two.
One of my favorite my favorite apps already is like the map app. So you throw updates into a map app? I can't explain it. You either get it or you don't.
What do you mean? Like you get maps? Like
yeah, I want to go to, I'll just like type in a city, see what's around there. I also like to see how long things take like for me to drive to them. Like randomly, I'll be like, I wonder how long it'll take me to get to Kristen's house. She lives in San Diego. Like right now. I don't know. Okay. I'm a weird, listen, I've talked to a few people before and they're like, no, I fully get it. Like I love a map app thing.
What's that thing called when it's like a day is a color or a number?
Synesthesia. Yeah.
I feel like that's in that neighborhood.
Perhaps.
You should probably see how long it takes to get from maps to synesthesia, but that's...
Yeah, the same way I love a Zillow rot.
Oh, I love a Zillow moment.
Yeah, just like hanging out on Zillow. I don't know. Listen.
If I enjoy where you can right now, siphon it out. I'll let you look up every city in America. Have a blast.
So first of all, you know how I am with like directions. So like if I'm going somewhere I don't know, like I need to have like my bearings. I want to know north, east, west, south, just because when I walk out of a building, I want to know if I'm turning left or right. And maybe it's a control thing. I don't know.
I'm that way with parking. I look up far in advance. If I'm going somewhere I've never been, for me, it relates to punctuality, which relates to anxiety for me because I have to be 10 minutes early or my skin falls off. And if I've never been somewhere, I will go to the street view and look at parking, or I try to casually ask someone. I'm like, what's the parking lot? What's the parking lot? Is there parking for me?
Parking situation like
what's
over
the
there?
Parking situation? And yeah, you will never catch me going somewhere raw dog with not having no idea what the parking looks like.
That is 100% what it is. And I want to like then look at like on the map in relation to where it is. You know what I mean?
Are you weird about have we talked about this before? Are you weird, like need to know what the parking is like?
100%. Yeah. Because sometimes that's gonna. What if it changes your the route you take?
Right.
Also, you need to know like if there's a parking lot, you just got to pull in, find parking, walk in. You know how much time to add. If it's street parking, Add another half hour.
Absolutely. So we need to have those things factored in.
Except for when you do that, you find parking immediately right up front. And then you're like, shit, what do I do now? Just in my car.
Well, you go on TikTok in your car. What's crazy is we know this, I have fantastic parking karma. So for someone who has such good parking karma, it being it's like hot lava for 8-year-olds is the uncertainty of parking for me. It's so destabilizing if I don't know what's going on with parking.
Hot lava or quicksand. Did you not think about quicksand a lot when you were little? Thinking that it was going to be, I saw a meme that was like, I thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem.
I thought that was going to be a huge part of my life. And meanwhile, it's battling crow's feet. But I just thought it was quicksand and lava.
It's like literally just constantly having a stiff neck. But yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we have a whole episode to do here.
We sure do. And what's actually exciting about this is we picked these a while ago because of the restructuring in our recording schedule. So it's like, this is
yours. I picked mine this morning.
Okay, mine were picked a long time ago. So I'm like, I don't know what these are about. I can't wait to find out.
Okay, well, let's get started. So we have some hometown heroes.
Oh, I guess we should say hometown heroes. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
It's 2025 and everyone has been given 365 new blank pages waiting to be filled.
Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create meaningful stories that you deserve to live. Honestly, I have benefited a lot from therapy in my life. I've been in it for years, and I honestly don't know what I would do without my therapist. And before I got into it, I didn't really realize how much it helps you to have that neutral perspective and see things differently and problem solve.
I think a lot of times people look at therapy as being this sort of stigma of like you're down and out, or that it can't be actually like a very useful tool even when you're not struggling. That even if you're doing very, very well in life, you can take that opportunity to look in other areas of life that you want to improve. Like at any point in life, in any stage in life, no matter where you are, therapy can be extremely useful in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, BetterHelp is fully online, which is making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties.
And you can easily switch therapists at any time with no extra cost. And I always say this, it's all about finding the right therapist. It's harder than dating. It has to be a fit. So that's such a nice feature.
And it's, if you sit down and you start talking to someone, doesn't work out, guess what? Switch.
On to the next.
On to the next. And you really should. You really, really should date around your therapist until you find the right one, because there's nothing better than when you do. Write your story with BetterHelp.
Visit betterhelp.com/disrespectfully today and get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/disrespectfully.
Want to know something I hate, double hate, loathe entirely?
I always do.
I mean, the list goes on, but honestly, extra fees right at the top of the list. They're literally everywhere. Movies, airline fees, concert tickets, and pretty much everywhere.
I think we were talking about fees last night.
Yeah, we were.
No, truly. Well, do you want to know what doesn't have extra fees?
Obviously.
A Chime checking account. Chime helps make financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days earlier with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/disrespectfully.
Have you ever had an overdraft fee? Before my dog days were over, let me tell you.
I'm queen of overdrafts. Especially because there would be, again, maybe some subscriptions I didn't know were coming out of my account that I didn't account for in certain like times of the month or whatever, that then all of a sudden it's plucked from my account and,
They take their beef pluckers and they just go right in and, well, here's the thing. You know what's the worst? When you overdraft by like 30 cents. Because, and then you
$25.
And then you get a fee that's like 10,000% markup. And the thing is with Chime, you can overdraft with up to $200 with no fees.
Thank God. Yeah. Well, because I've had like accounts that you either have to have a certain amount of money in there or cost you money to have it in there. And it's just like, what a nightmare.
Let me live. I'm just a girl.
Literally, I'm just a girl.
So join the millions of Chime members who are working on financial progress. Get spotted on debit card purchases with cash withdrawals, no monthly fees or maintenance fees, which is iconic, and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs.
Ooh. Today, Chime has spotted members over $30 billion. Insane. Friends give friends a boost. Eligible members get complimentary boosts to temporarily increase a friend's spot me limit. Would you spot me?
Of course I
Somebody?
would.
Thank you.
There's no limit to the amount I'd spot you, but...
Oh. When you give a boost, they can boost you back to temporarily raise your limit.
Here, this is how it works. Let me break it down for you. Set up direct deposit in your Chime account. After qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges fees or interest for using Spot Me, which is, iconic.
That's amazing. Make progress towards a better financial future with Chime.
Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/disrespectfully. That's chime.com/disrespectfully. Chime. Feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank, NA or Stride Bank, NA, members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. This year, Dana and I both decided that we were going to focus more on our health.
Yeah, we did.
Shocking.
Besides the gas station stops, but we're working on it.
And with that, have decided it's time to eat better. Something that's been super helpful for us accomplishing this has been Cook Unity.
We love Cook Unity. Cook Unity has been a lifesaver because it takes the stress out of meal prepping and planning. And who wants to cook if it's stressful?
Not me, not I. If you're also on a health kick this year, we highly recommend Cook Unity. Go to cookunity.com/disrespectfully or enter code disrespectfully before checkout for 50% off your first week.
It's honestly a blasty blast to use. You select where you are and you can choose between so many incredible chefs. I had the most delicious birria enchilada de forzadas with Jalisco red rice and refried beans. I know your mouth is watering, and it was by Chef Ruben Garcia, who's really cool. I love to read about the chefs. Ruben has been working in restaurants all over New York for the past 10 years. And honestly, I feel like the best food comes out of New York, so I trust him. He worked at the Palm 2 and Extra Virgin in the past few years. And now he mainly freelances as a chef for clients all around NY. He specializes mainly in catering, and meals by Ruben Garcia are prepared fresh in small batches in local kitchens across the country.
Oh, how chic. Mm-hmm. And the food tastes incredible and so fresh. I got a Moroccan chickpea and feta bowl with balsamic vinaigrette, and that was created by Chef Dustin Taylor. And you could just tell it was made with so much love.
Yeah, you could. It's delicioso.
With every bite.
Mm-hmm. And it feels so good to support local chefs and suppliers. We try to be local when we can.
Exactly. These chef-prepared meals make dinner easy, healthy, and super satisfying.
Dozens of chefs offer a wide variety of cuisines. You can select from over 350 meals, or you have them picked for you, which I personally like.
I know. Omakase.
Do it for me.
Browse the menu by protein, chef, cuisine, or dietary need. You're sure to find food you'll love. Menus are updated weekly, and new chefs are always joining the team, so you'll always find new favorites.
Yeah, you will. Cook Unity saves me so much time. It's so easy, and there's no cleanup or meal planning. Meals are delivered fully cooked. All you have to do is heat them in as little as 5 minutes, which is just the best.
Anything less than 5 minutes is perfect for me. They have flexible and commitment-free subscriptions. You can skip deliveries, pause, or cancel anytime, which I love.
Enjoy restaurant quality meals for a fraction of the price. Subscriptions start as low as $11 a meal, which when are you ever spending less than $15 on a meal?
The chefs you see on TV and in 5-star kitchens are the chefs that make your Cook Unity meals. Their roster of all-star chefs includes Food Network alums, James Beard Award winners, and acclaimed restaurateurs balancing flavor and nutrition in small batch meals sent fresh, not frozen.
Made with humanely raised meat and organic ingredients whenever possible, plus fresh seasonal products.
Reset your routine with convenient, mouth-watering meals crafted with local ingredients by award-winning chefs.
Go to cookunity.com/disrespectfully or enter code disrespectfully before checkout for 50% off your first week.
That's 50% off your first week by using code disrespectfully or going to cookunity.com/disrespectfully. All right, this one's long, but I picked it.
Did you pick this?
I sure did. This is a full 2 pages. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Katie and Dana. Day 1 Vanderpump Rules watcher and day 1 listener. Katie, I have to apologize to you because I genuinely did not enjoy watching you in the beginning. You could have kept that to yourself.
I think it's so funny when people write that in. They're like, I didn't fucking like
hey,
you.
I fucking hated you. I didn't need to know that. But thanks for sharing. However, as I watched you through the seasons, I realized it was because Our relationships are so painfully similar. Ooh, that sucks. Specifically, my husband, while not a bad guy, never put me first, and I fought so hard to save our relationship just as you did. I'm thankful I didn't have to go through it on camera, but I'm really glad you took the step forward and chose yourself. I'm also sorry I projected my anger and resentment onto you. Oh my God, with full-blown apology. I had no idea this was happening. Sincerely, you don't have to apologize. Sadly, but also for the best, I divorced my husband as well, and as painful as it was, I'm finding myself and doing all the things that make me happy. But that's a story for another time. That is so important. I'm so happy for you.
That was a full circle. They self-aware, figured the whole thing out.
Dang, that's called growth, I think.
Growth.
Any hoodly hoo. Onto the dirty deeds. I'm currently listening to the episode where you ask if every girl had a fascination with the 5-finger discount. Spoiler alert, I did, and I got arrested, but it gets even worse. So let's get into it. Let's be real. The time you get caught is never the first time you do it. And as Dana mentioned, you tend to get sloppy, or even worse, you genuinely believe you'll never get caught. Fast forward to one of my favorite jobs I've ever had, working at a chocolate shop. I had the coolest boss ever. She basically let us run the store, fully trusting us. I was feeling particularly ballsy and decided it would be a fantastic idea to shoplift from areas directly next to where I work. Great. Not sure if you're familiar with the Dana Point Harbor, but I worked at the chocolate shop there. I'm not even sure it's still there, but I still miss it. I don't know. I've been to Dana Point, but I don't know if I'm that familiar.
Is that Laguna area?
It's closer to San Diego, but I think it's around, it's south of here.
Well, I like the name. We should go visit it.
We should. Okay, so back to the stealing. The first one was easy. I made small talk with a shop owner and noticed the tank top was like $70. So I was so offended at the overpriced item, I took 2. On to the next. I was literally the only customer in there, and little did I know I was being watched like a hawk. The second the shop owner turned around, I stuffed the hoodie in my bag. As I went to leave, the store manager immediately began walking towards me, asking where the hoodie went. So naturally, I bolted.
Yikes. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
The shop ladies were screaming at me. Passerbyers were staring. And instead of just running into my car and driving away, I chucked the hoodie and stopped a few steps later. I just froze. Mind you, this was mid-shift. I literally was at work. Yeah, this is not a good idea. Flash forward to me sitting in the back of a cop car, cuffed really fucking tight. The cops were looking over my ID and laughing between each other. And I already knew why. One cop opened the door and asked my name, even though he was holding my ID. Pro tip, the last thing you want to do is mouth off to a cop when you're already in handcuffs. So I tell him my last name again. And he said, as in John, last name, question mark? I think he knew his dad or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you. My dad, John, was a parole agent for the state of California, and every cop in the OC knew him.
Ooh, cool.
The cops called my dad's work phone and told him I was cuffed in the back of his car. My dad was there in less than 10 minutes. They asked if he wanted them to release me to go home or let me spend the night in jail. I could see him thinking about it and was expecting the worst. Thankfully, my dad agreed to take me straight home. By the way, that is not allowed. If you're arrested for a crime, you go to jail. The officer could have gotten in serious trouble. And yes, I realized how privileged I was not to have to spend the night in jail. Damn, girl, you got so lucky. I lost my job and apprenticeship. My boss was going to teach me all about the candy and chocolate making. I had to go to court. I was found guilty for 2 counts of petty theft and had to complete 100 hours of community service and would be on my record for 4 years. Final note, I joined the military a little over 4 years later and had to go back to court to get off informal probation because the military won't let you in if you're on any kind of probation. I've been a DOD civilian for over a decade, and let me tell you, the government always finds out. I stole in 2007, and the government still asks questions about it every time they get my background checked. And yes, I have to be completely honest. To this day, I've never stolen anything and never will. For all the ladies listening, it's not worth it. Okay, love you, bye.
Here's my question for you. If Terry got a call, let's say she was a parole officer, and that you were in that scenario, do you think that she would have sent you to jail for the night or had you released?
I don't think she would have sent me to jail.
Oh, my mom would have sent me to jail. She would have said, yeah, take her. But learn your lesson that way. And that's just who she was as a person. Absolutely. She would have been like, go to jail.
Oh.
Bye. At first, when I was telling my stealing story, when I was like, that my parents were strict about certain things and then more lax about others, oh yeah, she would have said, take her, I'll pick her up. Whenever. Frisker. Make sure you get in there.
Yeah, do a full body.
Check those cavities.
Cavity check.
I heard she has drugs.
Oh my God. Well, that's
yeah, glad that she really came back from letting you know how much she hated you too. That was an exciting journey.
Listen, I know I'm not for everybody and I've accepted that, but thanks for reminding me. No, but oh my.
Yeah, but I think in general, the sentiment remains stealing is definitely not worth it, especially these days. Don't you feel like technology has gotten, you know, when they say about like Target and different big box stores, how crazy their security is, like how they'll let you get away with it because they're trying to get you above larceny.
Yeah.
So they want you to keep coming back and thinking you're getting away with it, but they're watching you the whole time.
Yeah, it's different times. It's not the good old dog days where it just feels like a little bit like you know, I don't know.
Yeah, back then it was just, it felt like, I look at my childhood like it was the 70s. That's how it feels, like so long ago, an innocent time.
Another you know, it was though. It was a different time.
Liz says, "Hi ladies, love the pod and both of you. After hearing some of the ghost stories read, I was quickly reminded of my own. About 10 years ago, I moved into a new city after college for a job. I lived with 2 roommates in a hotel turned apartment building. Oh, I would never think that's like the Cecil or the Cecil downtown. It's like,
a hotel turned apartment. There's too much. It's seen too much in and out.
Well, also the Cecil, isn't it still operating?
Mm-hmm.
Should we go do like a spooky night there?
No.
Okay, never mind.
I'm good on that.
Never mind. Picture The Shining. The building was old with a vacant restaurant on the first floor. There were rumblings about the building being haunted, and while I don't typically read into that, I do believe in spirits. My roommates and I threw a party shortly after we moved in. We thought it was a good idea to take the elevator to the top floor, which is allegedly an abandoned penthouse, which is connected to the roof. First mistake. There were plastic tarps all over the... okay. What is this, Dexter's Laboratory? Like plastic tarps? There were plastic tarps all over the penthouse with a bunch of dusty construction, hard hats, and tools. It looked like nothing had been touched in years, but we were wasted and unfazed. We took a bunch of photos wearing hats on the roof, probably not safe, etc. And once we looked at the photos the next day, we saw every single one had an orb photo attached. I didn't know what that meant, but Google said it could mean paranormal activity. Creepy. Do you think that orbs are more than dust? Photos?
Depending on, sometimes people show stuff and I'm like, that looks like it's something on your camera lens. But then you see some that are like, so I can't explain it. Yeah.
I think that some maybe, like you said, it's situational. Like sometimes maybe it is just dust, but I believe in it. When I had that demon living at my old place in WeHo, and I put that video and all that stuff started happening, a bunch of times there would be a bunch of orbs that would fly and then all of a sudden bangs and like that's when things would move. So yeah.
I mean, I took pictures in a cemetery one time and they looked like bubbles. They were so like just.
I did too. We took it and you could like barely see us in the photo because there were so many of them. It was like, no. A few months later, the water started running in one of the shower tubs out of nowhere. We didn't turn it on, and even when shutting the water off in the unit entirely, it continued running. We thought maybe this was due to old plumbing, but the building staff called a plumber, and all parties were very confused as to why this was happening. I can't remember how long it took to fix, but again, it was very creepy. The final straw was one day I closed my closet door and I locked it from the inside, preventing me from opening it.
Why?
Excuse me? I had to call a locksmith and he told me it was virtually impossible for this door to lock on its own, even from the inside. He was unable to get the lock open and had to call for backup. Eventually, they got it open by drilling through, and this solidified that the incidents weren't coincidental and in fact, something was wrong with the place. I almost forgot to mention that someone tried to steal my car at gunpoint in the parking lot during my tenure there, confirming I am safe and my car was not taken, LOL. But that was even more scary and creepy. Gotta keep your head on a swivel. We have a few more bizarre situations, but eventually got the hell out. I'm now happily and safely married, living in my own house, and haven't had any creepy paranormal experiences since. The apartment building appears to still be in business, and I'm dying to know if they ever repaired the penthouse. Thanks for reading. XOXO.
Oh, yeah.
Also, that is the beginning of any scary movie ever, is drunk kids going to places they shouldn't be going. It's, let's go to the abandoned penthouse with all the tarps.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, but the actual like hotel that The Shining was like kind of like whatever after, that place, I would go there. I want to go there.
Is it a real?
Yeah, like I think one of my friends, she went on an influencer trip there and stayed there.
Wait, let's Google. Do you know where it is? Let's see. Timberline Lodge, Oregon. Oh, they did too. And L Street Studios in England.
But I don't think it was where they actually filmed it. I think it was like the hotel that it was like
based on.
Or whatever. I don't know. I'll find out and tell you.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Just if you see tarps, just go home.
Yeah.
It's never too late to turn around when there's tarps.
Okay, I have another novel to read.
You love a novella. You're such a novella girl.
We've had some very, very long submissions, which is great. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to read a bunch of those when picking these.
No, totally. I would say we want the details, but maybe because we do the whole other separate episode now about them, but try to keep them as consolidated as you can. We want to know things, but you know.
Anonymous says, "Hi, disrespectfully ladies. Thank you for all you do." Insert how much I love and adore you both here. Dana, as someone who lost her last living parent, mother, at 26, and has an older sister that I'm bonded as hell with, too. I feel your words about losing your mom and the connection you have with your sister deeply, and often find myself getting choked up when you speak about your bond with your mother. I appreciate everyone's honesty on the pod. It's refreshing on a level I can't express my appreciation enough. Oh, well, thank you. That's really nice.
We love you.
My hometown hero story is a cautionary tale that lends itself to the phrase, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Over the summer, I broke up with my ex of 4 years for the second time. Unfortunately, I hadn't learned my lesson the summer before when I broke up with him and asked him to move out. Hey, listen, Dumb Bitch University exists for a reason. And it's tenure there. And I randomly remembered this story recently from when we first started dating, when I should have run screaming. I shall set the scene. I, insecure, 31 female, had bagged a smoking hot coworker, 26 male, also wincing here because I know you're going to holler about how we shouldn't shit where we eat. And I know, okay. Well, LMAO. And we were looking to bone. Bad news. We lived with family for one reason or another. He lived with his parents. I could tell so many horror stories about his parents too. And I lived with my sister and her husband and kids, a very packed house. So we had nowhere to have sex. About 2 months of dating, and he moved into a converted single-car garage shed.
That's so much more common than I knew was a thing based on these stories. Lots of things happening in garages.
A lot of garage apartments that didn't even have a kitchen, just a fridge, microwave, toilet, sink, shower, bed, TV. Well,
that sounds like a complete home.
It was a kitchenette.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got, listen.
There's a toilet, which is awesome.
This micro Airbnb was a tiny piece of shit, but hey, home sweet home, baby. One specific weekend, we got drunk, so drunk, and ate an ungodly amount of Thai food. As Dana says, sidebar, my order for those playing along at home, Thai fried rice, spring rolls, pad thai, and dumpling soup.
Oh no.
These are really important details. He ordered...
Are you me?
Land plane. He ordered similarly, and so we had one large brown bag full of items. The bag's important for later. I sure hope it is.
I think I know where this is going.
Lazily and drunkenly, we didn't take a few minutes to walk to the garbage down the driveway. I've been there before. To the outside can when we were finished eating. Instead, we left it full of our garbage on the floor next to the door and proceeded to have sloppy sex and pass out at like 11 p.m. Awesome.
Drunk sex filled to the brim with Thai food. It sounds like an Olympic sport. Yuck.
Nice. Okay. I woke up about 2 a.m. to a sharp pain in my left kidney area, and this was familiar to me. At the time, I was training for a half marathon. Oh, damn. And I knew that I must be severely dehydrated, constipated, and gassy from the beer and food. I don't think you have to be training for a marathon for that food to have that effect on you. As someone who's never in their life, maybe just a little dehydrated. If I ate that kind of food, I would be wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never even thought about a half marathon. Like, the marathon I have is usually eating the Thai food and getting drunk and trying to fuck.
Yeah, that is a marathon.
That's the marathon.
That is it right there. I could not get comfortable no matter what. But laying on my left side helped a little bit. I was facing away from my ex and toward the kitchen area. I felt my ex moving around in the bed next to me and realized he was climbing out because, yes, the bed was pushed against the wall on his side because that's how small the space was. Listen, we've all had a bed up against the wall. Mm-hmm. And he looked normal but tired. When I call out to him to say hey and tell him about my gas pain. When I noticed, he walked to the left side of the room to my side of the bed to the brown bag on the floor, took out his dick and peed in the bag. When I say he peed, ladies, I mean he had probably anywhere from 9 to 12 beers that night. So it was seeping out of the bag and it puddled and ran down underneath his desk where his computer, fridge, microwave wires were all were. It was a lot of urine. Also, wasn't there like food and garbage in that bag too?
But I'm confused because there was a toilet in there. Maybe he just was so fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about.
Ugh.
I, however, did not sleep another wink that night. As I laid there in horror for hours, I kept playing out scenarios of how our conversation would go. How does one go about telling their significant other this? Hey, babe, maybe next time walk 3 steps to the right and use the toilet? Like, what the fuck? He woke early, like 7-ish, slithered out of bed, and went to the bathroom right away. I kept thinking, how could he possibly have to pee again? But he definitely went again, and in the toilet this time, LOL. When he came out of the bathroom, he could tell I was upset and asked me what's wrong. I said the only thing I could think of, which was, dude, what the fuck happened last night? His face changed, and he appeared confused, asking me what I meant. I gestured over to the pee puddle, which has spread across the floor, and he almost had stepped in it, and said, this. His face turned to shock, and he asked me what happened. Dude, seriously, I'm asking you for a reason. I asked, don't you remember getting up last night and peeing in the bag? He denied doing it, said there was no way that could have happened. I asked him why he thinks I would make that up, my voice cracking now. He angrily got a roll of paper towels and started to wipe it up, muttering under his breath. It couldn't be urine until he smelled it, and wow, it was dark yellow against the white paper towel, and said he didn't know what happened. I told him I watched him do it, and he asked me why I didn't say something, as if it's my fault for not waking him up from what was apparently a sleepwalking venture. He was pretty defensive and frankly mean to me as he cleaned up piss lake and and I was shaking upset. His main defense was that I wasn't being nice about the way I introduced the problem to him. Oh no. I'm sorry. Is there a correct way to ask your significant other why they pissed in a bag on the floor in the middle of the night? We were starving and agreed to get breakfast. Once we got back, he quietly said he has disorders and I need to be more sensitive about that. I asked him to elaborate and he said he didn't need to and that I just needed to understand. We never spoke about this again, ever, in the 4 years we're together. I know he was embarrassed and rightfully so, but I should have seen all the red flags then and there. Now, 36-year-old me wouldn't take that shit lying down or with gas pain. I'm off to go smoke a bowl. If you can't say that on the pod, you can say smoke. LOL. Cheers, ladies. Thanks for reading.
Smoking bowls is acceptable here.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever witnessed somebody in the middle of the night pee?
Yes. I had a handful of friends from college that like one girl peed in a closet and we were like, what are you doing? And yeah, I've seen it. It's shocking. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Have you done that?
No, I never have. I think one time in the middle of the night, I woke up and I was staying at a friend's house and I was like trying to get into their closet. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm looking for the bathroom. They're like, okay, well, that's my closet. So maybe go to the left. And I was like, okay, sorry. Like, but I didn't just like, I don't think I actually did that. But
yeah, I've always managed to make it to
I've always
toilet.
been, like I understand like waking up and being confused or whatever like that. But like, oh yeah, no, I witnessed someone just like fully, and I was screaming at them. I was like, what are you doing? Wake up.
That's what you have to do.
Wake up. And nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to victim blame this person, but I would be screaming.
But when I
at
brought
them.
it up to them the next day, they didn't gaslight me and call me and make me feel like an asshole for bringing it up and make it seem like it was my fault. They were just like, that's freaking embarrassing, and I can't believe I did that.
Well, this is a gross story, but it's interesting that he got so defensive. I was like 19. And we lived we called them ramblers. I don't know if that's a thing here, but just like a 1-story house. So my mom was obviously sleeping. I got home with my friend and we were drunk with a capital D. So there was a powder room at the other end of the house and my bathroom was near her bedroom. So I knew I was going to puke and I didn't want her to hear. So I went to the powder room to throw up. I don't really remember this. My friend came in also needing to throw up. So we were butt to butt. She was throwing up in the sink and I was throwing up in the toilet. We then, this is disgusting, got a soup ladle.
Oh no.
Because the sink got clogged. So we're then ladling it on. And it was one of those things where like in my mind, I was like, oh, smooth. Like that scene from Wolf of Wall Street when he's like, oh, I got home fine. No, you used a soup ladle when you were blacked out carrying vomit everywhere. So then I wake up in the morning and she comes in, Dana, throws my door open and she was like, you were puking all night. And I was like, no, I wasn't. What are you talking about? And she was like, in your bathroom. So I got up in the middle of the night, went to my bathroom. My mom came in and was screaming at me. I gaslit her and I was like, my friend Jay, let's call her. I was like, it was Jay, not even trying to gaslight. I did not remember. She's like, Dana, we had a conversation while you were throwing up in your bathroom. I didn't remember. So I was not trying to gaslight. Which was a pretty terrifying moment for me that I then didn't remember the 3 a.m. situation. But
damn,
sounds like he knew he did it and was just being a dick.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when someone, they always say like to be in a relationship with somebody, you need to see them in certain situations, like losing a bag at the airport, something else, like I think this is one of those when they drunkenly piss on the floor and see how they handle it.
Well, also she's like a bunch of disorders. What was his disorder? Was he Reagan from The Exorcist? Like, what do you mean? What was his disorder that causes?
You don't need to know. You just need to be supportive of it. I would like a little more information on what kind of disorder causes you to wake up drunk in the middle of the night and pee on the floor.
Alcoholism.
Yeah, that's what I think it's.
Anonymous says, hey ladies, I was never into reality TV before, but I started watching Vanderpump Rules during COVID and my love for the show sent me into a Bravoverse black hole that I cannot get out of 4 years later. Katie, you have always been my favorite cast member and Sandoval has pissed me off season after season far long before his fall from grace. It makes me tingly inside to finally see you get out some long-awaited vindication regarding that douche canoe. Dana, I loved you when you joined the show, and now listening to the two of you share your friendship on this podcast has been so much fun. Okay, enough ass kissing. I've got a shoplifting delinquency story for you. Okay,
yeah.
I was apparently on a kick. First, a quick and quite opposite circle back to you girls vouching for fears of being under the knife during an earthquake. Based on a story to come, it may surprise you that I work in an operating room closely assisting surgeons in a level 1 trauma center. I wanted to ease your fears and let you know that the surgical team's first priority is always the incapacitated patient, even above your own well-being. We have protocols in place to care for patients in the event of an unanticipated disaster to mitigate any harm that could come to the patient and finish the procedure or stabilize them so they can be evacuated. I always looked it up, and places that are prone to earthquake will typically postpone surgeries if any seismic activity is predicted. Long story short, it would be...
There's seismic activity all the time in California, whether we feel them or not. There's like mini earthquakes nonstop everywhere. My thing is like, if we could predict them that well, wouldn't that be something? Because they always happen around 2 a.m. when you wake up with no clothes on in bed and you're the most vulnerable you've ever been in your life and disoriented. My thing is, if I'm doing LASIK and we get a shake, I'm blind. I'm going blind because it's like, oh, there's an earthquake. And the laser like just fucking.
Okay, so honestly, I picked this to try and ease your fears about
Girl,
this.
that doesn't.
So if there are any LASIK people listening, doctors, assistants, tell us about that machine.
Have you ever been doing LASIK during an earthquake and what happened and how blind are they?
Yeah, we need to pertinent information.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Well, I guess this has done nothing to fix you, but that's what I was hoping to do.
Thanks.
Long story short, it would be highly unlikely to be left behind during an earthquake while having LASIK unless it was a catastrophic event enough that everyone in the room were to die. If you were the case, personally, let me die under the nice deep sedation. Okay. So specifically as someone speaking who has had LASIK, you are not sedated. Unfortunately, the drugs they gave me, those kinds of things do not work. My brain is fucked up. I was like so awake while it was happening, but then 30 minutes later, I was unconscious on a chair. It just didn't time right. So anyway, you're awake. You're not asleep during that. Claudia had to drag me to the car after because I had that allergic reaction that morning. So I took a Benadryl, then they didn't want to give me the Xanax. And I was like, oh, you will give me this Xanax or I can't do this. And then I was hyperventilating so bad as the machine was coming in, they had to be like, okay, you have to stay still while we get the clamp on your
really
eye.
Soothing me.
It did it. And then I was on a chair with the goggles like this. She had to fucking get me to the car.
I love it.
Anywho, now the story of me going to jail. Great. I had very strict parents growing up, so I was never able to have fun until I got to college. Quick sidebar. Don't you feel like the kids who were the most suppressed ended up being the most rebellious? Like when there was such crazy strict
I think
rules.
that's typically how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they're just told no and there's like so many rules. It's gonna happen.
And not to say like we had rules about things like stealing and drunk driving, but there were less strict about other things. So you can still have more lax parents and be a troublemaker. But I definitely think that if it's suppressed, those are the ones that like really are the bad ones. Every time I got drunk, snuck out, tried to go to a party, I got caught. My entire life, I had never been able to get away with a single bad thing I had done. My sophomore year of college, some girlfriends and I went to my first spring break trip ever in Florida. This is so exciting because next week on Wednesday, I want to talk about MTV spring break. So great.
Okay, great.
I was so excited and ready to party. After 2 days of being there, the girls and I went to a strip mall to get some new tees, beachwear, etc. Over the years, I had watched so many girlfriends fill their entire wardrobe with stolen items from various stores, and I was so jelly that they didn't have to pay for them. So yes, I do think this is just a rite of passage for girls. I did know that stealing is bad, but it had never been so normalized that I figured, why couldn't I do it too? So my friends and I went to Kohl's to get some gear, went to the fitting room, and I stuffed my Lauren Conrad shirt into my bag while the other girls did the same with their stuff, and we beelined out of the fitting room to the front door. We had done it. We should have stopped there and just went home. However, one of the girls decided we should go stop by TJ Maxx while they were there. It was in the same strip mall. We love a Maxxinista.
Mm-hmm.
We went in and I needed a new bra, so I was trying some on in the fitting room when I heard commotion outside. Someone started banging on the door and demanding I come out. I cracked the door open with only my bra on, and a police officer tried to yank me out of the fitting room. Don't love that with a teenager.
No.
Yeah, I smell.
She wasn't dangerous, so there's no need for that.
I smell a lawsuit. Thankfully, he let me go back in and put my shirt on before placing cuffs on me and walking me out to meet my friends. Apparently, Kohl's had some serious loss prevention and they don't mess around. We were taken to the back room where I cried and we fully confessed to our crime. I don't think there's many teenagers out there listening, but I'm not condoning this behavior or any kind. But if you're ever in a situation with this with police, you say nothing. Do not speak. Say, I would like to speak to my parent or an attorney. Don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
We gave all of the merchandise back and pleaded with them to let us go. They did not. They wanted to make an example out of a stupid young adults coming to their state and robbing them on spring break. We would soon learn that our fellow criminals in the pokey, that Florida notoriously loves the phrase, come on vacation, leave on probation. That would have been nice.
What kind of tagline is that?
That would have been nice to know beforehand. They took us down to the station and we got booked into jail. Luckily, they let us stay together and spent most of the night in general holding room with other incoming hooligans. For a little while, we actually kind of had fun. We were flirting with some boys across the room.
No.
Wait, it was boys and girls jail? It's co-ed? It's like a Sadie Hawkins sock hop? People kept saying what we had done, and we would tell them that we stole a car. One lovely gentleman gave us a nickname, Snow Bunnies. Let's just say our girl crime gang was a hit in the slammer. Now for the not so fun stuff. Oh my God, I remember why I picked this. I had a raging UTI and a newish industrial piercing that was teetering on infected. They made me remove the bar when I was booked, so I knew by the time I had to get it back in, there was no shot. Being a broke college student, this broke my heart, but all actions have consequences, right? For the UTI, I just started taking Azo, or one of those medications that turns your pee orange as a sunny delight. I went to the bathroom at one point and looked down to see my tiny thong, and the inside of my shorts that had been riding up my crotch all day were thoroughly stained. This is when I was ready to go home. I came out of the bathroom with a wave of anxiety. Were we ever getting out of here? Shortly after, a sketchy looking girl comes out of the medical room and cries to the whole room that they just gave her a pregnancy test and she was in fact pregnant. Is that part of the protocol? I know when you go to the doctor, they're always like, are you knocked up? And you're like, I haven't had sex in 6 years.
Depends. I mean, I guess depending on how long they're planning on keeping. I mean, I guess they would need to know.
My God. I started to silently cry. This was the point where I rethought every life decision I made that got me to this point. I took the process a little bit more seriously. Thankfully, it was an hour or two after that my friend's ex-cop grandfather came and bailed us out. We enjoyed the rest of our trip as much as we could and then returned home to the harsh realities of finding a lawyer and getting charged with a misdemeanor petty theft since I couldn't afford a better lawyer that could get me off. I've never stolen anything since, and I have come to terms with the fact that I cannot get away with anything. But I'm okay with that. The one plus side was that my parents never did find out until a few years ago, far too long after the fact for them to do anything but tease me for being a dumb bitch. So kids, don't steal, especially from Kohl's. So new fear unlocked. I was like, I don't like jail in general, but I'm like having a UTI in jail when you're stuck somewhere. She didn't talk about the pain. So I'm hoping that it was, you know how sometimes they don't hurt as bad and you don't know you have them?
Yeah.
But then it like comes.
Then it spreads to your kidneys.
Then you go to the hospital if you're Katie Maloney. The thing is, you would to have to sit in there. Like you can't get off the toilet sometimes. So I'm glad she took an Azo. Maybe that's why the pain was okay. But I was like, holy shit, being stuck in jail with a UTI. Unpleasant.
Absolutely not. What, I mean, if they, so let's say they just like left the area and didn't stick around, would Coles just be as well?
I mean, I'm assuming so. But also, how did your parents not find out? Because if you're a minor and you have to get an attorney, that's wild.
That's a good question. Yeah. How old?
What, you just had a little babysitting money saved up for your $200 an hour attorney?
Yeah. Was it college?
Yes. I think she said sophomore year of college. I couldn't buy Wonder Bread in college. I was working to put myself through
So
school.
wait,
I
you're
couldn't
like
pay for any.
19, 20?
Yeah. I couldn't pay for anything. So especially not an attorney. Could barely pay for Busch Light. Should we WWDD?
Yeah, let's WWDD. Thanks for those hometown hero stories.
Please continue writing in your hometown heroes, your WWDDs, disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. A totally free way to support our show. Hit that 5-star. Give us a nice review.
Oh, yeah.
On Apple. We love it. And we just
Smash it.
We appreciate all of you for doing that.
So something crazy I just learned is that over 10,000 chemicals have entered our U.S. food supply. Did you know that?
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay.
I think about it every day.
For reference, the EU limits this to just 300 additives. I personally don't get overwhelmed with reading through ingredient labels to see what's in my food, which is why I love using Thrive Market.
Love, double love entirely. Thrive Market makes it easy to find better options without the hassle. And who wants to deal with the hassle? One of my favorite features is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. It's simple, scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest cleaner, healthier grocery alternatives. The other day I went to the store and I scanned my usual crackers and it suggested Simple Mills as a healthier yet still equally as tasty swap, which me as being a 7-Eleven gal, like I still need, it needs to be good.
That's like really the most useful thing for us. I did that the other day with popcorn. I scanned one that had a list of about 30 ingredients and it suggested Lesser Evil, which is so delicious. And the ingredient list is simply organic popcorn, extra virgin coconut oil, and Himalayan pink salt. I love a Himalayan pink salt.
I do too. I say, But the best part, everything gets delivered right to my door and I get savings in every order. So like win-win.
Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding safe, healthy food. All their products are 100% non-GMO and free from over 1,000 harmful ingredients. And their on-site filters make shopping even easier. When you're looking for dye-free snacks, non-toxic cleaning, or high-protein meals that fit your dietary preferences, Thrive Market has you covered in a few clicks. I've been trying to up my protein intake this year, and I just filter their site for high-protein options and make sure I'm always stocked.
Also, that's so important. Again, I'm just a girl, and we just never get enough protein, so it's about having to be really proactive about it. Something else I love is Thrive Market's Smart Cart feature. It takes the stress out of replacing junk food. And again, we know I just eat too much junk food, so I'm trying to replace it. When you create an account, Thrive Market asks the right questions and automatically builds a grocery cart tailored to your needs, filled with healthier alternatives to your favorite brands. From there, you can just adjust, add, or remove items before checking out. I found so many new brands I'd never heard of because I'm disgusting. And I'm excited to try like coconut oil, sweet potato chips, and grain-free puffs.
Grain-free puffs. I can see you being a grain-free puff gal.
I could put the other orange puffs down and, try these out, which is great.
How do those go with bean dip?
They'd be fabulous with bean dip, let me tell you.
Ready for a junk-free start to 2025?
Yeah.
Head to thrivemarket.com/disrespectfully and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift.
That's THRIVE market.com/disrespectfully, thrivemarket.com/disrespectfully.
Okay, whether you're married, single, focusing on friendships, or stuck in a never-ending spiral of situationships, dun dun dun.
Stop yelling at me.
Everyone deserves to celebrate love.
While MeUndies can't get that F-boy to commit, they can offer you an insanely comfy yet sexy undies and loungewear to buy or gift this holiday.
You don't want the F-boy to commit.
No, you don't. You shouldn't be forcing that. So you need to dump that F-boy and get someone who's worthy of this sexy lingerie.
Yeah, just get some MeUndies. They've got so many awesome Valentine's Day prints and styles. Plus, you can match with your partner. friends, or even your pets in MeUndies, iconic matching styles. You and Laszlo.
Me and Laszlo for life, let me tell you. You and them matching MeUndies. Name a better Valentine's Day. Yeah, I just think they're all so cute as a button. I love the variety of prints. I love all the different options they have. And by the way, just public service announcement, sexy loungewear and undies aren't just for if you have a partner, and they're not just for impressing someone else. It makes you feel good to wear them yourself.
I love some sexy undergarments.
I got out
For
of my
me.
old stinky holes in it t-shirt and put that on, and I was unstoppable.
They have styles for everyone, from all black classics to fun, expressive prints. MeUndies has a look for everyone. Try our sexy new V-Day prints like electric hearts or lovebirds. Plus, they come in sizes extra small to 4XL, guaranteeing a flattering cut for every body.
And versatile loungewear. MeUndies isn't just about underwear. Explore the lounge collection featuring joggers, hoodies, onesies, and more.
It's seriously unmatched comfort. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. It's breathable, stretchy, and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear.
And it's responsibly sourced, which you know we all love. They use sustainably sourced materials and work with partners that care for their workers, which is unbelievably important to us.
And they have a problem-free philosophy. Not happy with your first pair of undies? It's on MeUndies.
MeUndies kind of sounds like a pirate, like
Hey,
MeUndies.
MeUndies.
This Valentine's Day, give the gift that'll always have them thinking of you and get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/disrespectfully.
That's MeUndies.com/disrespectfully for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. All right.
Let's solve your problems.
Okay. Taylor says, hello, Katie and Dana. Big fan of the podcast. I've listened to every episode, love all the crazy stories and the advice you two bad bitches give out. I feel like what I'm going through needs an unbiased opinion, and I know that you girls would give it to me straight with all your disrespectful wisdom. My sister and I don't share the same biological mom and dad. My dad and her mom married each other when we were kids, and we've been together ever since. We're a soul family, and we've always shared an incredible bond. I've always had her back, and she's always had mine. This past year, my stepmom, my sister's biological mom, passed from cancer. The year leading up to her death was obviously difficult on all of us. However, my sister took it the worst of anyone. She already suffered from PTSD and anxiety, and the stress of what was to come put her in a very dark place. As much as I was hurting, I made the choice to try and be positive and be there to help my sister through this. She began lashing out at everyone around her, including me. My sister was the one person in my life who had never hurt me, so to have her suddenly become so cruel to me was difficult. I had been nothing but kind and patient with her, and in return, I was left feeling like an emotional punching bag. All of her pain and all of her grief was directed towards me. The worst was when she told me that I am not my stepmom's biological daughter, so you have no right to be hurt that she's dying of cancer. At some point, I couldn't take it anymore, and for my own mental well-being, I needed to set boundaries between us. I let her know that she should seek grief counseling, and that I would be there for her if she wanted, but I think that right now we needed to take some space. Fast forward to now, my sister's in a better place for the most part. Here's my question for you, Katie and Dana. I have forgiven my sister for the way she treated me during that time. I know that grief can be ugly. As much as I tried to not take things personally, I couldn't help but feel heartbroken by the way she treated me. I felt unworthy of the right to grieve, unimportant, and unloved by my sister. It still bothers me often, and I know that in order for me to heal from this and move on, we need to have a conversation about it. I feel hesitant. Our trust was severely damaged this last year, and I'm afraid that she will lash out and I will get hurt again. How would you approach this conversation? Or should I simply leave it alone and work on how I feel about it? What would disrespectfully do? That's really sad. And I think at some point, to some degree, we've all been there with someone in our life, significant other or friend, that is going through a difficult time and they're not managing their emotions very well. And I think because you were a safe place for her, she felt like she could really just let it out. And it often was, you became the emotional punching bag. But it's after time, it becomes traumatic, and it becomes more like emotional abuse than anything, I think, to consistently treat somebody like that and unchecked and be so unself-aware about it. So you're not wrong for feeling that way and creating boundaries, and thank God you did. I would 100% have a conversation with her. And just say like, as much as I've forgiven you, there's some things I cannot let go of and move past because it was really, really hurtful. And while she probably wasn't being, it was unintentional, I think just making people aware of their actions and how they impact you, I think is all you can do.
Yeah, I've been on both the giving and receiving end when going through super traumatic grief. So when my mom died, I was living with Courtney, my best friend from back home, and our moms were friends, and her mom died a year later. And we were living together during that time. We were very young and just so untethered and freaked out. And I mean, it was such a hard time. And I look back on the first 2 years after my mom died and I was unrecognizable. I was such a monster. I don't excuse that behavior. And I have the distance now to see that. But I was just so angry and I was lashing out at people that I felt comfortable around. And the thing is, at some point, she's going to have to pay penance for that and repair those relationships and, be responsible for it. And I know the things that she says are awful and have hurt you, but it's not her. It's a different version of her that like when you're in that kind of grief, I mean, people grieve differently, but people who are angry, I'm not excusing it, but I just understand what she was going through. I think, like Katie said, a conversation is definitely warranted. I would probably wait till she's in a better place and a more stable place, because if she's still in the fight or flight of it all, she's not going to receive what you're telling her and will probably get defensive. And even when if she does get defensive from a healed place, I would just pause the conversation and just say, I don't feel like you're hearing me right now. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. And just try not to be attacking and coming from a place of empathy. But while her feelings are valid, so are yours. And to be the person who's receiving that is incredibly difficult, incredibly grating. And over time, it just wears you down. Like, it's so hard to take that. So I'm sorry that you are going through that. I'm obviously sorry for what's happened to her, but it makes sense for me that it's lingering for you still. So yes, have a conversation and, just try and be compassionate while still taking care of yourself and getting what you need.
Yeah.
Christina says, good morning, beautiful ladies. Love you guys and need some advice. My fiance and I have a 6-month-old, and up until 2 months ago, I was utterly obsessed and in love with this man. Until I found messages on his computer that he had been reaching out to escorts and prostitutes basically our entire relationship. One even 3 days before our child was born. Basement. I was completely shocked and disgusted and devastated. He would cry and apologize and beg me to stay and then turn incredibly angry, throwing things, punching holes in walls, which is domestic violence. This man is a well-respected artist in our hippie town. People love him, and I've known him for 5 years, and I never saw any of this coming. I finally had the strength and courage to move out with the baby last week, got him to sign over custody, etc., but I'm still so hurt, embarrassed, and devastated. He keeps begging me to come back, promising to change, but I don't trust him, and I have lost all respect for him. I know he will not change, and I wish that were true for the sake of our sweet baby. I'm heartbroken. Trying to raise an infant completely on my own with no help because my family lives 10 hours away. I'm lonely and scared I will cave and go back to him because of how difficult and embarrassing this all is. I know I deserve so much better, but I'm having trouble giving no contact with him and not being hurt and blaming myself. Situation makes me feel unlovable and not good enough. What's worse is I gained a lot in this pregnancy. I used to be a size 2 and now I'm a size 10. Feel like I have no more confidence and I'm scared for the future. Any advice would be amazing. Thank you. So first of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you. What an unbelievably traumatizing thing to experience in general, but especially postpartum. It's just like unfathomable. I think here in general, I just want you to keep in mind that you did the right thing. And even in those moments, literally lie to yourself. If you're questioning that and it's leaving an opening for him to come back in your life, remind yourself, replay the tapes of everything he did. First of all, cheating on you in general, awful. Right before your baby was born, awful. Punching holes in walls because he's caught for doing these traumatic, awful things to you. Yeah, he's an abusive person. And also, if people lash out in anger by throwing things and punching holes in walls, it's usually the beginning of escalating behavior in terms of DV. So please do not wait around to find out how much worse it's going to get.
No. Yeah.
Especially with a baby, and he signed over custody for you. So I know that you, for the sake of your baby, want him around sometimes probably, but you don't want a dangerous person like that around your kid and you're doing all the right things. And we love you and support you and are sending you good energy from here.
And also just like, don't be so hard on yourself. It's already traumatic as it is, but just the embarrassment, like there's no reason for you to feel embarrassed. You know, like you were with this person for 5 years and then all of a sudden you saw this completely different side of them that you had never seen before, and you acted, you know, accordingly and appropriately in how you should to, you know, to keep yourself safe and your baby safe and everything. So I wouldn't say that's embarrassing at all. I think that's pretty amazing of you.
It's embarrassing for
giving
him.
yourself a little bit more. Yeah, no, you are not the one that should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. He's punching walls. He's angry. Like he was the one fucking around. So that's not embarrassing for you at all. I mean, I know there's like this like level of shame that comes with that because you feel like you should have known, or how could I be with somebody that would do this to me? But then sometimes you don't know. There's people who like never have a track record of that in their life and then all of a sudden become this person.
Well, he's two different people. He exists. It was this outward facing thing that he was showing you where that dark passenger was there.
Yeah, but
he just hid it from you. He's good at it.
Yeah, it's not your fault for not picking up on something or anything like that. You know, it's just, again, people can shock you.
Well, and I'll say I have someone in my life that went through something very similar, and it was shocking to all of us, not just her. So, and I know at the time she felt embarrassed, and I kept telling her, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You were hoodwinked. This person was really skilled at doing this and hiding and compartmentalizing this other life.
Mm-hmm.
And please, I know it's hard if you feel not at home in your body and different, but giving birth is just one of the biggest, having a baby, you know, for the human body is one of the biggest transformations that can happen. So I know it's easier said than done, but please try and give yourself grace with that too.
Yeah, no, but you feel, you understand like that when you're feeling out of your body in that way, and then also someone's like cheats on you, like your self-worth like goes down the toilet. But so just love yourself a little harder right now, I think, but you should work on.
Yep.
Anyway, Anonymous says, hi ladies, day one listener here. I always look forward to Wednesday and Fridays listening to the pod on my way to work or while doing mundane tasks around the house. It always makes the most boring chores a little more fun. Yay. Lately, I've noticed a strange phenomenon in which my husband gets upset with me when I don't want to eat what he wants when he wants. What? For example, 10 p.m. will roll around and he'll want to order Taco Bell.
Am I your husband? Are we married?
I'll decline because I'm usually full from dinner or don't want to wake up at 2 a.m. with raging heartburn. Yes. He'll pout and roll his eyes, which usually leaves me apologizing and giving in. God. The same goes for drinking and smoking. If I'm not in the mood or simply don't want to, he gets quiet and sulks. Who is this man baby?
That's so weird.
Yeah. Recently, we went to a Christmas festival in our city we go to every year. We went to a concession stand and I only ordered water. He was so upset he stormed off. I was mortified and really hurt. What complicates things is my history of binge eating and very negative body image. I turned 30 this year and have been prioritizing my health, working on my relationship with food and myself. However, when I give in to my husband's wishes, I feel like I revert to my binge eating habits and backslide. I've talked to him about this before and asked him not to get upset when I choose not to eat something or drink or smoke when he wants me to, but he just doesn't seem to understand. He gets defensive and it just doesn't feel like he's listening. How can I communicate these boundaries to my husband? WWDD. This is so weird. Like, this behavior is just so juvenile and so immature
and toxic.
Like, and yeah, I feel like I don't want to say that he's trying to like sabotage any progress you make in your life, but yeah, just to get upset that you don't want to have Taco Bell at 10 p.m. Like, just, I don't know. I think it's called autonomy. It's called you have autonomy and you can do what you want when you want and how you want to within, respect, all respect, And so for someone to get upset that you simply don't feel like eating something in that moment feels very controlling and then they use like tantrums like that as like, retaliation. Like that is a form of abuse, just so we're all clear. Like, and when that behavior becomes consistent, it also becomes a pattern. And so I just think, I'm a little concerned that he's immature, that he can't even handle confrontation or a conversation, but What do you think? I don't know.
Never once in my life have someone not wanted to drink or smoke or Taco Bell, and I've gotten angry and thrown a cheesy gordita crunch at them.
Well, also, no one's ever been like, no. So
yeah, I guess I'm because I have friends that, you know, are like me. But here's the thing. When people have substance abuse problems and or they're bad problems, if you choose not to participate, it then mirrors to them their habits. So he wants to feel better about drinking and smoking and eating Taco Bell, which again, I might be your husband, but I'm like, he's doing that. He's getting upset because you're highlighting for him the issues that he has and what he's concerned about. So this is not about you. This is about him. He should be supportive of you, particularly if you have a past history with binge eating and it's something you're trying to manage and you want to focus on your health. If the people that love you aren't excited for you when you're engaging in healthy, holistic behaviors, then they are not your people. This is very weird behavior on his part, and you're validated. And I would recommend having a conversation with him on the quickness when he's sober and, you know, not eating a burrito. Just be like, this is not cute. You're acting like a child, and I don't know why you would want me to be doing things detrimental to my health. So leave me alone.
Well, yeah, and it's like, and it's also sometimes it seems like she's down for it some of the time, but just sometimes it just doesn't want to do that. Like she's allowed to say no. So I think in terms of like bringing up a boundary, just say like, hey, like, as you know, I've been really focused on my health, on my relationship with food and all those things, and you knock yourself out if you can't just simply be supportive and not do those things around me. Don't make me feel guilty for not wanting to participate. Just like put your foot down with that first and foremost, and just say I get to make decisions about what goes in and out of my body. Well, maybe not out, but what goes in also dictates that. But yeah, just how you want to treat your body, that is solely up to you, and he should not get upset about that.
Well, and if you guys were at the Christmas festival thing, you keep ruining events for us, our nights, and that can be really stressful when someone keeps getting mad at you.
Yeah,
especially when it's undeserving. Like that's traumatic. So yeah. Hope that helps. Lay down the boundary. And then if he keeps doing it, you're going to have to make decisions about if that's the kind of life you want. Anonymous says, hi, Katie and Dana. I've been a diehard fan of Vanderpump Rules and you two since the beginning of time. Your podcast has gotten me through a lot of shit and the full body showers that seem to be ages long. LOL. I promise to keep this semi-short, but I definitely need your guys' help. Long story short, my fiance and I'm the queen of saying long story short. I've never told a short story my entire life. Long story short, my fiance, I say that a lot for someone who can't just zip it up. Long story short, my fiance and I have been together for almost 7 years. We have been together since we were 16 and 18, now 22 and 25. Needless to say, we grew up together and have seen the ins and outs of each other, good, bad, ugly, etc. The problem is in his lack of commitment. My fiance and I rent a home together, own 2 animals together, and are engaged.
It feels like a lot of commitment.
Yeah, but
so I'm curious where he's lacking. Okay.
We have been engaged for 4 years now, and my fiance and I still have no date, venue, nothing. I think she's referring to her wedding.
Okay.
Every time I ask him when we can at least plan it, he says at some point or later. I get not wanting to rush, but it gets to the point where it doesn't even feel like he wants to anymore, and he gets defensive. My fiance has an issue with the government being involved in anything, and his parents got a nasty divorce, so the papers in general scare him. Needless to say, I'm starting to get really frustrated because I'm tired of trying to prove to him that I am not his parents. And yes, a marriage license is part of the government, but you don't have to get my hopes up for 4 years when you propose. I love him a lot and I'm willing to wait, but sometimes all I want to do is just live my little girl dream, pick out a dress, a venue, and get married already. I'm also very, very tired of doing wifey stuff on a girlfriend's salary. Clock it. He does treat me well, so I really don't think he's cheating at all. But to be fair, we have been a little distant from each other this year, 2024, specifically because of work, stress, mental health. But I keep telling myself that it's a given in every relationship. We do bicker a lot now, not enough to split up, but definitely do a couple separate things like adventures versus playing video games all day. I'm OCD, he's messy. I'm type A, he's type B. I've also been pretty sick with an autoimmune disease that causes me to be highly fatigued and my joints and muscles are shot. Because of this, we only have sex once a week or once every 2 weeks because I never feel sexy or up for it. I know that a man's needs are important, so I feel bad, but as a woman who cooks, cleans, takes care of the animals, his laundry, work, it also hurts my feelings because I do so much and sometimes it's not enough. I see the defeat on his face when I pass up sexy time, It honestly makes me feel like a piece of shit. And the only time I can give myself to have sex is if I've had a few drinks because I have my body right now. We used to F like rabbits and I feel us starting to fade. And I'm really sad because I do love him. But sometimes I also feel like my feelings aren't valued or validated. Please honestly let me know what to do.
Have you tried therapy? I feel like there's a lot of maybe stuff that's not being effectively or properly communicated to one another. It seems like you have a hard time expressing or not. I don't know that I'm not there for those conversations, but like maybe he's not getting the full scope of how you feel. And maybe he's got some stuff that like he doesn't really know how to bring up to you as well.
And let's be clear, this is textbook in terms of women who take on majority of sweat equity in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're to feel like you're taking care of everything, it's hard to want to feel sexy and go bone at the end of the day when you've been mothering him. Like we've talked about this before on the podcast. So I think there's a lot of things going on. We obviously can't tell you what to do, but I also want to remind you, you are very young. I know you guys have been together for a long time. And I understand if you want to be married, but I also feel like because you're like, pick out my dream dress, venue, get married. Is it because you want a wedding or because you want to be married? Like that's kind of where I'm wanting you to evaluate a little bit more. If he proposed to you with the intention of he knew you wanted to be legally married, like I don't know if you guys had that discussion before getting engaged. I can also see your frustration with it being 4 years, like season 2 of The Office with Pam, who had been engaged for 3 years and it was like an ongoing joke that season. So I also totally understand that you're feeling frustrated about it if you really do just want to be legally married.
100%. But I think that maybe like doing some type of couples therapy to like kind of get to the bottom of like why he doesn't feel like he wants, that doesn't any sense of urgency. And yeah, I understand not having the government involved. And as someone who's like been divorced, like that shit fucking sucks. I still am like a hopeless romantic, and the idea of like being married to somebody and everything is still so appealing to me. But the reality of divorce and that whole grimness of it kind of makes me rethink that. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate that, you know, in order to have any kind of access to a person, and if they were in need, your other person, like you would need to be legally married to be considered family. So that's like the kind of the main thing. But what I want to also like have you consider too is that if this person chooses you every single day and treats you right and everything, that like that's really great. Because again, someone being married to you doesn't mean they fucking pick you.
Yeah,
I spent way too long thinking that just okay, well now we're married, and so I should be more important to this person. But the thing is, I wasn't important enough before. I fought for my place in his life. So like I view it as just like I want someone just to like really choose me, choose us, put that kind of effort in above anything else. And I think, yeah, you're still young. So I don't know. Don't take your time.
Yeah, I also think, like Katie said, counseling can be beneficial for the two of you, but I think you need to do a little bit of inward searching and just evaluating what is important to you, what isn't, you know, what your terms are, because also you are so young. I know you love him, but also if you do feel like it's not enough, that's totally fine. And you're well within your right to then, you know, it's not this or nothing.
No, yes, I mean,
you know
you have to have type of relationship with the type of partner and the type of love that you really want and deserve, of course. But I think it's always important to evaluate truly like what is most important, because wedding, marriage, all that like is at the end of the day, just take it from me. It doesn't mean shit.
Facts.
The person that you're getting involved with and how they treat you is way more important.
Agreed.
Okay. Jessica says, hey, Dana and Katie. I've had a good friend that I've known for 20 years. We became friends during elementary school, and we were some of the few emo punk kids at our school. In our 20s, we kind of were in a partying stage, drinking, doing drugs, staying up all night on the regular, and I ended up getting pregnant and had a beautiful daughter. So I chose to end that phase of my life. What a bummer. It should have never been a phase. Now we're in our mid-30s, and I know some of my friend has been dabbling a lot with substances from our party days and lying to me about it. I understand that she is single and doesn't have to support another human, so her mentality is a bit different than mine. On top of this, she's also having an affair with an older married man / father from her work. It's reckless. This isn't the first time she's gotten involved with a married man. Actually, it seems to be a pattern, as her last situationship was somebody's boyfriend, another she kept for me. I'm turned off by her choices. I feel bad, but I'm pretty vocal to her about my distaste for the situation and told her I think she deserves better, but she is saying that she's in too deep now with her feelings. He gave her the whole spiel about being in a loveless marriage, which I just think is bullshit. There's no excuse to cheat. By the way, it's been over a year now, and this man has not left his wife. My friend has always been supportive and been by my side through all the stupid decisions I've made in life, but I'm kind of finding it hard to return the favor now. I've been distancing myself and I feel kind of bad, but I cringe when she talks about the situation. I know I'm not perfect by any means, but I really want to surround myself with people that inspire me, and this ain't it. Am I wrong to feel this way? I'm not even sure how to proceed. Thanks and love you both. Judgy Jessie? Hopefully not.
I don't think you're judgy Jessie.
No.
I think when someone that is very close to you is lying about what they're doing, it's because they know deep down that it's not the right choice.
Because then no one would be approving of their actions.
They don't like the way it sounds. So she's lying to you because she knows and I think that it's good that you recognize if that's a pattern, it's probably coming from a place of something very broken deep down for her.
Yeah.
Like people aren't doing that kind of thing because they're happy.
Yeah. She's not just consistently choosing men who are not available to her because that's just her type.
Yeah.
There's something deep within her that needs to be examined. And I think it's hard too, because when you really care about someone, they're like, well, they've always been there for me and I should try to be there for them. But it's like you at some point you do grow up and you do have to allow yourself to grow and be the person that you are, and have the people that are in your life reflect that person and support that person and help write your story moving forward. And if this person just isn't it, I think it's fair to like be as honest as possible. And I know it's going to be like, you can feel mean, you can feel judgy, you can feel this, but you're not. You're just saying that this is just, it's not the type of energy that you want around you.
Yeah. And we've discussed also many times before that relationships evolve and change, and, we grow and become different people. And sometimes other people stay where they are and they're done growing, or it seems like she has a lot of work she needs to do. And if she's not ready to do that, then you don't have to take her along on your journey, or even at least in the same closeness. And if she tries to make you feel bad about that, I think you have pretty specific examples of how you're just in different phases. And like, it doesn't need to be this biblical mean thing that, explosion that happens. It can just be like, we're in different places.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye.
Okay, well, hopefully we solved all of your problems and you're much better people now, because I don't think so, but thank you for sending those in.
Yeah, hope this helps. Keep sending them in, and especially for the people in LA, we love you.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about everyone, particularly the first responders and our team, Allison, Leia, everyone. We just love you guys so much, and thank you for helping us continue this show in the middle of a shite storm.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Until next time.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women, like disrespectfully.